Let's talk to Alex Crowley, former number 10 advisor, with us on the programme. Afternoon to you, Alex. I mean, we have these blips every now and again. They are never good news when you hear the word recession, but they are old news because this comes from the last section of last year. So there's every chance we're not in a recession now.
Yes, weirdly, the analysts say, well, probably right now, as we sit here today, we're probably not in recession, even though the news tells us that we have been in recession. So it can be a little bit confusing. The broader picture here is that, I mean, what are we talking about here? Minus 0.1 or minus 0.2%. The bigger problem for our economy that will face any government that changes or not changes in a couple of months' time is that we've been bumping along at zero for far too long. We haven't been going above that. Arguably, you could go right back to the financial crisis in 2008 and say that this country has never got back on the path that it was since that happened in growth terms. And it's had a massive effect on all of our livelihoods. And the biggest problem for the government is how do you actually get to a position where we're back growing again?
Yeah. People seem to forget 2008, because I can remember at the time, many forecasters, Governor of the Bank of England, various other, fairly switched-on characters said whoever gets into number 10 in 2010 and beyond are going to experience a generation or more of flatlining. That's how it's going to be. So that was kind of very well predicted by the good and the great. A
rare example of a good prediction.
A rare example of a good prediction, even if it was a bad prediction, but it was an accurate one, it turns out. The 2008 was so bad, we forget how bad it was, we forget what a downturn it was, that there was never going to be any short-term or even immediate long-term leaping out of the doldrums there.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Now, on the one hand, it's a fair criticism to say, well, that was 2008. However many years ago that was. Why are you still talking about that? We should be talking about what we're doing now. But the long-term implications of such a financial collapse are obviously going to form part of the picture. And not least, of course, the financial impact of COVID. The financial impact of the fact that we spend 2 years or more paying everyone to stay at home, and we had to print a load of money in order to do that, which gave us the high inflation, which is, of course, holding us back now.
Absolutely. And confidence is key. It's always that C word that is crucial. Some would say a change of government. If Labour come in, Rachel Reeves, who she might not be everybody's flavour of politics if you're not a Labour supporter, but she's to the right of the Labour Party. She's an economist. She knows her territory. I can't get beyond the fact that every time I look at her, I think it's Ed Miliband in a dress, but that's another story. But she's absolutely economically switched on. She will be trusted, it seems, by the markets.
Is she economically switched on, Ian? It's an interesting question.
I'm being generous here.
It's an interesting question because, of course, not last week. We heard that despite Labour telling anyone who had listened for quite a long time that they would spend 28 billion on so-called green initiatives, they're now saying they're not going to spend 28 billion. But, of course, they are still going to deliver the green initiatives. It's just that they now won't tell you how they're going to pay for it. So I wouldn't say that would give the markets a huge degree of confidence either.
I think you're very cynical, Alex, to be honest.
Well, maybe. I've been around too long.
Do you not know how easy it is to think you've got 28 billion and then realise you haven't?
You know what?
Very simple.
Reach down the back of the sofa. You'll be surprised what you can find.
There's a lot of politicians done a lot of reaching over the years.
Indeed.
Maybe Rachel Reeves is doing some of that right now.